these are the ingredients. I'm using hard chicken, and this dark part that you see here is because we got it freshly from the farm, so it is that's just burnt marks. They burn the hairs off. And then this is tomato. I froze it because it wasn't, you know, it was kind of going south, so I cut out, you know, the bad parts and then just froze it. And then this is onions. I froze that as well because I wasn't going to use it anytime soon. And then I'm using 4 Jamaican peppers. Yes, that's a lot, but I'm using 3 of them. I'm blending it, and then 1 of them I'm just putting in the soup. And then I'll be using some okra. I'm not chopping it. Maggi cube, of course. Bouillon cube, same thing. And then just some regular white mushrooms. And then this is just some natural peanut butter. They say it's natural. Some salt, and then tomato paste. You don't necessarily have to have tomato paste. You can use tomato sauce. A whole can will do. Okay, so let's get started. Fill up your pot with water. Not all the way, just a little bit. Let me pour out just a little bit. Okay, then put it on high fire. There we go. Normally, the first thing would be to put your chicken in there. You don't have to wait for it to boil first. This is the thigh. Feet. Just get them all in there. I usually put the thicker part of the meat in right away first before the others. Any part that seems like it's gonna take longer to cook. Now hard chicken is different because of the way that it's raised, and also it takes longer to cook, so you would have to keep it on fire for much longer than you would the regular chickens that you get from the supermarket. Normally I would put 1 whole tomato or two whole tomatoes, and then 1 whole onion, depending on how large it is, and the peppers in there for it to boil. But because this is already chopped, I can't get that in there and then get it out and put it in a blender. So I will just go ahead and let it defrost and blend all of them together. The onion, the tomato, the 3 peppers, and the tomato paste. The peanut butter, I'm going to show you the different ways of making the peanut butter soup. Okay, so let's get started. I always press on the blender to make sure that it's completely off, because one time I did just plug it in and it scared the crap out of me. Blender, not much. Okay, so I got the tomatoes in there. Now I'm gonna put the peppers in there. Just as using 2 Maggies. You can just use salt if you wish to, or other salt-based seasoning, like seasoned salt, or garlic salt, things like that. About 3 tablespoons of it would do. 3 ways of putting in your peanut butter to make your peanut butter soup. One is the easiest way, which is to blend it with everything else that needs to be blended. How do you know how much peanut butter to put? That's really up to you. You will know as time goes by how much to put in there, or how much you like it to be thick or very thin. So with me, it depends. Sometimes I want my peanut butter soup to be very thick that I can eat it with rice, because remember, when you make peanut butter soup, As it's in the fridge, you cook it, you put it back in the fridge, it gets thicker every time. So remember not to overdo it. This is this is the second tablespoon I'm putting in there. I'll put about up to 5 tablespoons. But since I'm just showing you an example, I'm not going to put all that I need. You can either put just some tap water in here, or you can take a little bit of the water from the meat that you are boiling, depending if the water is too much in there. Because remember, you've got to add this as well. So I'm going to take a little bit of water from... Okay, so there it is. That's why I say not to put, you know, not to fill the water up, because as the meat boils, more water, you know, gets released. So you go ahead and add the blended contents in there, and then you don't wash this away. You put some water in there, wash around it. And this goes in the soup as well. You don't want to waste flavor. The other way, get a small pot with just about 1/4 cup of water, just a little bit. Turn on the fire, and then take however much peanut butter it is that you want to use, a little bit, and then you just stir it in. So you put 5 or 6 spoons, stir, 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 and eventually it'll blend in. It'll only take like 2 to 3 minutes. It gets thicker and thicker and thicker. That's why you don't make it so thick. I'm adding just a little bit of water to it. Show you how you get it in the soup there. See, that only took about 3 to 4 minutes for it to blend into the water. Okay? So this is the other way of doing it. Remember, I've already added my peanut butter. That's why I'm not putting so much. This is just an example. This way is very easy, which is you just take the peanut butter that you want and just drop it into the soup directly after putting in all of your blended contents, like the tomato and the onions. You just put it in directly, 4 or 5 spoons or 6 spoons, it's up to you. So that's the other way. That was the easiest way. Now, the problem of doing it like this is because when you put it in directly, just as I did it in the separate pot, it takes a long time for it to blend with the water or the soup. So you'll see it look a little bit gritty all over, which means that you have to actually keep it on fire. You have to keep this boiling for maybe 10 to 15 minutes longer than you normally would. So here's my extra pepper. I'm just gonna throw that in right now because I want it to be really done. Halfway cover this. Use as much mushrooms as you like. I don't get the already chopped mushrooms because I want to chop it the way I want to chop it, which sometimes I like them a little bigger than what they have done. They usually just slice it up, and sometimes I like them pretty big like this, so that's why I get the whole ones. Because you always put it in whole. That's how you make proper peanut butter soup. You put it in whole. Okay, I'm gonna use 6 okras. You don't need to use like a whole bunch of it. I'd say this is about like a medium-sized soup. So you're only going to cut off the ends of it. With the okra, you probably add it earlier than the mushrooms. It takes slightly, like 5 minutes longer for it to cook than the mushroom does. Okay. I'll show you guys an example of the reason why you do not cover fully when you're making soup, no matter which one. You don't cover it fully once you've gotten the blended ingredients in there, because, let me get a napkin, this is what happens. See? That's what happens. So you need to put it halfway. Now I have to wash this off. It wouldn't take time though. Just rinse it off. When you see the oil coming up like that and you see less foam, it's practically done. Then add the okra in there. And the mushroom as well. Mushroom, it doesn't matter how long it's in the soup. It's always going to be in a good texture. So there's the okra there. Go ahead and add my mushroom. You can add it a little bit later if you want it only semi-cooked. Beautiful. So if you want your peanut butter soup thicker, you just add more. Like if you've already made it and you're not satisfied with the texture, like I said, just grab a separate small pot, take a couple of spoons of peanut butter. You can just cook it right then and there. Throw it in here. Let it boil for an extra 5 to 7 minutes and you'll be good to go. So you're not losing out just because it turned out to be maybe thinner than what you wanted. Kept it on very low fire. Completely done. You can even see it still boiling a little bit without any fire under it. Okay. And of course I made some concomte. I'm gonna go ahead and serve myself. Come on, I'm ready to get my grub on. Take some concomte here. I will not need much. Just a little bit. That's good. Ain't that beautiful? Let's see, that's all oil. That is from the peanut butter and the chicken. You can always take off all that oil if you like, but this is the trick of us Africans, the way we serve. You stir around and that way you avoid picking up much oil, and then you go deep like that. See that? How much oil did I pick up? And normally you take the okra that you want, lay it on top there, and then of course whichever portion of the chicken that you like. Beautiful. I love mushrooms, so I'm gonna definitely look for a lot of those. There's some there.